You don't even know that I'm showing my titties to you.
Oh God, you do know that was just recorded, just so you know.
That's fine.
Just
Let the
let,
world see them.
just letting you know, my friend. Well, that's a great way to get right
Letting
back
them
into
things
this.
fly.
We're doing our part 2 due to a water break of new characters in Smash. So where am I gonna go here? All right, I'm just gonna go straight for something that I will say aesthetically. It hurts my brain to think that this is a possibility, but we're already have broken my brain of that with the Nemesis being added to our final count in. And for those who are not aware, because you're just catching part 2 instead of part 1 somehow, thus far, those shown on screen are for me. And then if you look at the small share screen, you can see what Angelo has also done as well, where he included, he also had Master Chief on his list. Baba from Baba Is You is in the outside looking in category. The Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, due to a phenomenal argument, made it in to the list, and that was an Angie contribution. And I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil, so it worked. And then he just finished with Half-Life Alex. So, and that was an outside looking in. But so far we have 3 ins, and it's Dr. Robotnik, sorry, Eggman as per our agreement.
Yes, thank you. It's very important.
Waluigi and the Nemesis from Resident Evil. All right, so I'm going to go breaking the aesthetic that I don't think it fits, but if we're breaking the aesthetic so much, let's just go for it. It's Kratos from God of War, specifically Old Man Kratos from the newer iterations with the Norse mythology. I look for. I don't have a PlayStation, and I look forward to those games coming out because I know there is going to be at least 5 hours of my day spent on a couch watching extremely, extremely gripping entertainment of just cutscenes from the quality of those games. And anybody I've ever talked to with a PlayStation is like, "Yo, dude, the fact that you do not own a PlayStation strictly for God of War flabbergasts me." And that's where you go, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to sell some stickers on Etsy to make some money right now. Maybe I would buy a PlayStation if I could. By the way, go buy my Etsy. Go buy my stickers on Etsy. PT
Go
created
buy
by
all
Etsy.
his stickers on Etsy.
And the shirts and whatever else I throw up there. I'm gonna have a new Psyduck sticker up there that says "Stressy and Depressy." It's pretty rad. Fits me pretty well. So go buy it. But back to Kratos. I just think again, especially with I think you get a little bit of Scorpion in Kratos when you use the Blades of Chaos. I think you get that M-rated hero that, although God of War is extremely bloody and extremely violent, I think you could do Kratos kind of as a snake, where you can tone it down enough and still get the elements to make Kratos. I find it hard to do in my head, which is why I still kind of have a hard time with even with Snake, and why Master Chief is even kind of like I don't know, because it just kind of just doesn't fit in my head. But I think, especially from the Arsenal standpoint that we've talked about with Master Chief, with Byleth in the past, or with the Dovahkiin from Skyrim, is the modern God of War games. There are so many weapons, so many opportunities for cool stuff. Kratos could easily play as a heavy character and not violate anything. I find it funny that half my additions that are not just Nintendo reps that I want are just like could be heavy. Like I just want more heavy reps.
Big boys.
Well, just like
I feel like as a grown man, you just want more grown men represented.
Well, no, I think it's so funny because I play such a speed-based character all the time, and then I balance it with King K. Rool as a heavy because it's just fun to just be a fat crocodile destroying stuff. But I
fully agree.
I just think that like Smash Bros should use more heavies. So like, why not do it? So that's where my argument for Kratos would be. And then you get another bit of that Forbidden Door, as we talked about in our Final 40 cut, where Kratos feels kind of like the impossible. Like, it's kind of like there's no way Kratos can be in this game. And then you really get that PlayStation crossover, and then now we're getting that Johnny Microsoft with $2 signs money.
That's big Johnny Microsoft money.
I think of every rep that I have suggested or you have suggested, I think that's the biggest money rep you could get, is if you got Kratos. That'd be your, like, just shut up and take.
Interesting.
I think the Chief is there, but the Chief is out of nostalgia and out of like a habit buy or an obligation buy. We're like, well, I gotta get it because it's Halo, but it's not because like you're actually all that excited about Master Chief anymore. Whereas Kratos, I think, is the one that would excite players to go, dude, shut up and take my money. I get to play as Kratos against Mario, against Link, against Ganon, against
It's
all
funny
this.
because you were saying it, and I was like, I don't know, it's just Kratos. But then you said like against Mario, against things like, okay, I see it more. Like there's something cool there. There's something cool to like seeing Kratos represented in the crossover.
Yeah.
Like not just Kratos himself, the character, but Kratos as the representative. I think makes it more interesting.
Yes. The other thing about it is like Kratos to me, yeah, I mean, I can be completely off basis, but to me, it was kind of like I always viewed PlayStation mascot was always Crash Bandicoot. And then the PlayStation 2 happened, and that kind of stopped, and they didn't really have a mascot. And then the PlayStation 3 happened, and it's like, oh, Kratos is our mascot now. Like, Kratos is our guy. We're going to move forward with Kratos as kind of like the unofficial mascot of PlayStation. And then once it quieted down, they started playing with some other characters than that, and then they just went, let's just remake Kratos and make him even cooler and give him a better beard. And like that's kind of like, yeah. Like I fell in love with Kratos as a character by not even playing a game, just by going, like this character's just fucking rad, and the story of God of War is so good. So that's why I have Kratos up there. How do you feel about Kratos though?
Sorry, I was slightly distracted.
That's not a
Um,
problem.
I I'll explain it later. I feel good. It's a fun story. I feel good about Kratos. I think Kratos is cool. I think that as the Sony rep, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He also is a good example of the how do different fighting games represent the same character, because he was in PlayStation All Stars, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and I love the idea of like Nintendo having that like putting their dick on the table moment of like, hey, look at us do your character way better than you could.
Because you know they would.
And that would they absolutely would, and that'd be a super baller just thing for them to do,
Yes.
in a fun sense. I'm thinking about everything else we have available to us,
Yeah.
and no, I think Kratos makes sense as a new addition. I think that like
Wow. Okay. Because I don't even have it that strong. I just kind of was like just making the argument for it. But yeah, like okay.
I would want to put him in outside looking in, but I do think that like for the game, it would be a big get. It is
I
something that would bring a lot of excitement to a lot of people.
yeah.
And I think that there's like valid reasons for it.
Okay. So I'm still gonna say let's do outside looking in because we have some compelling ones
All right, you've sold me.
that like I really I've been wowed by your picks thus far because outside of really Master Chief because you had to pull the Nemesis out of the back of my brain because I just haven't been in Resident Evil world in at least 2+ years outside of Resident Evil 4 VR, which by the way, thanks again for that. Like outside of that, I haven't been in the Resident Evil world in almost 2+ years. So like really all your picks are like completely new to me or I know very little of outside of Master Chief. And I've been wowed by the argument where I'm like, that could be really cool as a playstyle. That could be really cool as X, Y, or Z. And
Yeah.
you started with your most basic, which was one of the biggest gets that's left for Smash Bros. To ever get, so to speak. So, like, that's pretty crazy.
Mr. Chef.
Mr. Chef. Mr. Chef. All right. Let's go. I guess I'll try to throw another one out there quick. Who am I going to go with now? On the Git kind of synergy that we keep talking about, I can't believe that we're using the corporate idea of synergy so well. Is I brought up Mortal Kombat a lot when you were talking about in our Final 40 cutdown of last week's episode of if you were going to tell me we're going to try to get every fighting game represented as much as possible, to me that is invalid until you get a Mortal Kombat rep. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, back to my aesthetic, I'm like, who can you get? And I'm like, I don't think you can get Scorpion in Smash Bros. And make everybody happy. Like, if you told me a developer is going to do a crossover game, who's got the best shot of making it happen? I would have my faith that it would be the Smash Bros. Dev team, especially with Bandai Namco on with them because they do a little bit more mature stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I find it hard to see Scorpion because it's far more of like a death, blood, and guts, where like the nemesis that we've already brought in is far more of the horror element, and you can bring up the anticipatory horror elements that make horror so good. You don't have to do
Mm-hmm.
the gruesome blood and guts of the nemesis and lose
Mm-hmm.
the character. Whereas I feel like you couldn't do a lot of the blood and gore of Scorpion and still keep a lot of the character. Which is why it's a long transition to say I chose Liu Kang. I think Liu Kang, because I was gonna go Raiden, and then I actually went, you know what? I think more. I think play wise, I think Liu Kang would probably be more interesting for Smash Bros. From the standpoint of especially
Oh, interesting.
if you could include Fire God Liu Kang of the modern Mortal Kombat games. I say that because I prefer Raiden as a character, but I also,
Mm-hmm.
as you can clearly tell by the rest of my, I have a heavy electric character to argue pretty quickly here. So I'm like, I didn't want to overdo the electricity, but I just think that some of Liu Kang's moveset
Okay.
just works really, really well for Smash Bros. And keeps to the character really, really well and could get that happy. Mortal Kombat fans could be happy. The Blood and Guts fighting fans could be happy. But a Smash Bros. Audience could be happy. And Liu Kang would be a really nice, as if there is this such a thing, but
Mm-hmm.
would be the nicest way to introduce a Mortal Kombat to a Smash Bros. Fighting audience that isn't there yet. And they're like, one of these days I'm going to play Mortal Kombat, and like, go, Liu Kang's in that game. And then their mind's going to be blown when they see the Scorpions, the Sub-Zeros, the Raidens, the Shang Tsungs, like, where they go, holy shit, what is this game? But Liu Kang feels like he can play in
Mm-hmm.
both those worlds. But I just want to see that flying, just like barrage of kicks to like Bowser. Like I think that'd just be so rad. And I also thought you could co-opt.
That bicycle kick is cool,
The
man.
bicycle kick is
Yeah.
rad. It's not even technically a bicycle kick, but whatever. I won't discuss that. But the bicycle kick is rad. The sound effects are rad. The base moveset works really well in Smash Bros. And I almost want to co-opt Mario's Fire Final Smash, give him a new Final Smash, and make Liu Kang's like way over the top better than Mario's, but then make it in the form of a dragon so you could kind of get a nod to like the animality stuff from back in the day as well and get like that dragon aspect
Yeah.
to it. I thought that could be really fun as well from a Final Smash standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I argued Liu Kang.
I'm thinking. So I will say I'm surprised that Sub-Zero wasn't a consideration at all.
I felt like I really like Sub-Zero, but I feel like Sub-Zero's towing closer to that Scorpion line, and it feels like if you're going to toe that line, you either got to do it or you don't. And it feels like you're trying to get as close to the mascot as possible without getting to the mascot, where Liu Kang is kind of like started kind of as the mascot to a degree.
My my, my understanding my my understanding of the Mortal Kombat like series popularity
Sure.
is that like number 1 and 2 are essentially Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
as far as like most used and most played characters, like those are the two.
yeah.
I do feel like if you're gonna represent Mortal Kombat, like the colored ninjas is
Yeah,
like
it's the
that
way
is
to
the
go.
design from that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like Liu Kang almost falls into a like how do I word it? Which I'm not necessarily mad at this idea either though, but something like a we want to represent a like kung fu. Like we
Yeah.
want to represent like kung fu fighting movies and things like that.
Yeah,
And
kind
like
of.
Liu Kang kind of like fulfills that niche, which is also cool.
Yeah.
I will say that he's not who I would pick for Mortal Kombat,
Oh yeah.
even with the like knowing you have to like neuter Mortal Kombat to get it into the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at Liu Kang either. I think Liu Kang's cool. I think Liu Kang's cool, but if I have to choose between like a colorful ninja that shoots ice chunks or like breathes fire out of his skeleton head or like a guy that does fireballs, I don't know.
Oh, I
It's just
definitely
it's a
get it.
ninja.
I definitely get it.
We're getting back to the Sheik argument where Sheik. Remember when Sheik was a ninja?
Yes, I
That's
definitely get
cool.
it. No,
It's cool when
I
things
mean
are
that's my
ninjas.
thing. Is like it's the where are
I
we
guess I'm thinking.
it's where are we in
Hmm.
this argument, because like the way you said Nemesis, it allowed me to see it in the game. And there's just still a part of me that goes, I just don't think you could get Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero you could
Hmm.
argue better for me than you would Scorpion. And obviously if like it would be really interesting for a down the road game where we're going to make our own fighting game, we get to put anyone we want in no matter what, then yeah, obviously your Mortal Kombat choice is Scorpion. You don't look back, because I know the game I would make would not be a family friendly game. I'd be making a rated M game where it's like, no, we're going to do some wild shit in this game and we're going to get the heavy hitters of the heavy hitters. We're not going to go and
Hmm.
be like, "Oh, I want this like C-list character." Liu Kang, I don't think is a C-list character. I would say it's a B-list character, because
Hmm.
when it comes to Mortal Kombat, I think there's 2 A-list characters and everybody else. But yeah, that's where I would go. I would. Where
Hmm.
would you put Liu Kang then? I think the argument's kind of made for him not being in, but also like floating in the ether of maybe.
I would probably. I would probably have Liu Kang as toss up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking.
I think that if it was Mortal Kombat, I think it would be closer to New Edition or Outside Looking In.
Yeah.
But Liu Kang himself is like, he's cool. He's cool.
Yes.
Liu Kang is cool. There's something about Liu Kang that feels like a compromise,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think that's part of what throws it off a little bit. Is that like
That's
if there
probably.
wasn't a Scorpion, a Sub Zero, or a Raiden as an option, and it was just like Liu Kang feels a little bit to me like when I see and and this is me being overly harsh because I think Liu Kang is a lot cooler.
Yeah.
When I see Terry Howard, where it's like that's a strong dude,
Yeah.
like the the silhouette of a Liu Kang hits different.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think we just answered as to why anyone who doesn't get it needs to understand why a Mortal Kombat character has never made the game in the first place. It's really simple.
Yeah.
It always feels like a compromise. You have to tone
Yeah.
down your mascots to the point where it feels like no one was happy with the Mortal Kombat elements of Mortal Kombat versus DC, because it was a teen rated game. Look how many people just bitched and moaned and complained about that. You have to bring them really
Mm.
down to play Smash Bros. Even compared to that. So I think you have your answers to why a Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Has never had a Mortal Kombat character. But I really wanted to represent that argument
Yeah.
in this, because Liu Kang was one of those that
Yeah.
or even
I
Raiden,
think it's worth talking about. Yeah.
where I was like, we need to talk about this, but I don't feel like it has to happen. Sometimes it's like
Hmm.
good things just can't mix sometimes, and that's okay.
Yep.
Alrighty, let's give me one of your passion prizes over there that you want to talk about. We got to get through yours quick because we're gonna get
All
rapid
right.
fire on mine, I guess.
Let's see.
We'll start doing one for
I
one.
feel like I should maybe. I'm gonna do something a little more straightforward. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go with something a little more straightforward. Um, what if Goku was in Super Smash Brothers?
Absolutely not.
But because it has to be a video game character,
Uh huh.
what if it was Ajura from Ajura's Wrath?
Oh shit. I just thought of.
So I think Ajura. Go ahead.
I just thought of that game out of nowhere for the first time in like years, based off of a clip I saw from Watch Mojo.
Ajura's Wrath is really cool. And like I think the power scale represented there is really excellent. I think the character of Ajura, like when I'll be totally honest, when I was I'm gonna just pull up a JPEG of it. Ajura's Wrath finger. when I was thinking about this is what I was thinking about first. I
Okay.
was thinking about the moment that a like god entity larger than the earth itself like pokes a finger down, and as it enters the atmosphere it like lights up and burns, and at the bottom of it, oh, there's not going to be there we go, at the bottom of this finger when it pokes is Azura,
Yeah.
like to catch the fingertip.
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking about the scale of that interaction, the scale of that combat, the scale of like that sort of conflict,
Yeah.
um, is incredible. And if we could capture that in Smash Bros. In this character, it would add so much life and grandiosity to it. Like the thing that I was originally imagining was this scene, but imagining the Smash stage where this scene
Yeah, that'd be
occurs
cool.
on, and like that moment where like the finger is coming from like above, and then like Azura grabbing it, and then I'm imagining at a certain point like the stage flipping upside down at that point, and then you're continuing the battle on the tip of the finger of this giant god that is like outside of the earth, and like
That's pretty cool.
Azura himself as a character is really cool, really fun, like this six-armed like god representative. But what the character provides to Smash Brothers is the grandiosity of the world that he lives in. And I think that is where most of the excitement, most of the really big excitement comes in, because him as a character is cool, and I think there's a lot you can do with him, but the possibility space of like the cap it removes
Yeah.
in terms of like what could happen, like, oh, in the like, this is the closest we could get to like adding an anime character without
Without,
actually adding an
yeah.
anime character. And one of the things that I think makes anime cool, that people like about it, is that it works in scales like this.
Over the
And
top
like this
wild
is,
shit.
it's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
It's bigger than anything Smash Bros has done before. It's over the top wild. A finger that is like just destroying mountains in its wake. Like, oh, so cool.
It's kind of
And also he
like
kind of looks like Goku.
it's kind of like Sephiroth plus. Like Sephiroth and Cloud kind of have that vibe to them where
Yes,
they feel
yes,
way bigger, and when Sephiroth gets put in, you're like, shit just got real. Which was even better that like
yes.
when they introduced Sephiroth, they didn't fuck around and do like his own little video where they're like, "Oh, you remember Sephiroth?" Like, haha. It's like, no, you remember that big bad that we introduced that kicked everybody's ass in this game? Sephiroth's gonna take it out in one move,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Fuck!" Like, we're screwed now. Like,
Yes,
that kind of vibe. I do love the vibe. I just don't
yes.
know if like Ezra's the way to do it. Because again, it feels that
Mm-hmm.
I feel even stronger than I did Nemesis. That feels like final boss fight for me, but I'm like, it also has more of a unlockable,
So
playable character.
Azura is the character you play
Yeah, I
as.
know. That's why I'm like,
Like Azura is just your protagonist in that
yeah.
game.
Isn't he kind of an asshole too?
Kinda.
Yeah,
But like he's not that, he's more of a like just a man on the peak edge of fury at all times.
yeah,
Um and I will say this, that I think that as far as playing as him goes, like a six-armed primal instinct, like just absolute muscle man,
yeah,
like you can make a moveset out of that.
yeah.
You can make a moveset that is like fun and cool, and like specifically I think like interesting to play as out of that. I don't think it's something that gets like super outlandish in a like Half-Life Alex what if you were hands kind of way.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, this dude, it feels like someone that when you were playing as him, it would feel almost like a stronger version of like Little Mac, where it's like he's just an absolute all-out brawler.
Okay. Yeah, I would certainly consider Ezra. I'd go. I feel like we're getting a little too much into ranking, but let's. I'd go outside
Where
looking
would you
in.
put him?
I would put outside looking in simply because the scale idea is what I love, but the scale idea also kind of scares me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but in like a good way.
What
I'm
if it was
like,
bigger?
Like, I love that idea for Smash, but I think
Yeah.
one of the reasons that Smash is so. The one thing I'd say against a grand scale kind of argument like that is Smash Ultimate was super earned because it's slowly over
Mm-hmm.
25 years built to that moment, or like 20 years built to that moment of where it was an army of
Mm-hmm.
everyone's favorite characters coming together and be like, okay, we gotta win, kind of thing. Whereas if you kind of
Mm-hmm.
just start with a character that's already there, it's like it almost, not Azure himself, but the idea of a grand scale manga-esque character, an anime-esque character, kind of almost feels like it belittles other characters, but I don't think it really does. I think that's just putting in the meta ideas of what we're talking about and like in the moment talking about things
Mm-hmm.
versus actual like gameplay. Because I think most people just go fun character, me play. So like who, like
Yeah, also true.
yeah,
I feel like Azura would be like the next step on the scale of like you can't put Ridley in Smash. He's too big. He's a boss. Like you can't do it.
yeah,
And then like they did it. And I feel
yeah.
like Azura is like you can't put something that grand in Smash. You can't put something on that scale. And like I like that
It's
in my
constantly pushing
mind.
the boundary.
And it's pushing the boundary, and I think an appropriate implementation of him
Yeah.
would push the boundary enough to be exciting without feeling like it is outsized for everything else. Like it would take finesse to implement correctly, but I think it could be done.
I would have an outside looking in for him personally. I also
Same.
just don't know if that like franchise hasn't been a
The
while.
franchise is absolutely dead.
Yeah, that's the
There
other
was
thing.
one game they made once ages ago, but
Yeah,
like I think that like there's a reason that game was I think the second that came to mind for me when I was figuring out like what to represent,
sure.
and it's like what it was able to do with that space. It did really cool. It did
All
really
right.
well.
All right, we'll go back. We're gonna go to one of the ones on this one. I will try to do a quicker one.
I'm gonna I'm gonna cut in quick.
Yep.
So we are almost at the halfway point
Oh,
for
that's true.
the list of ones that I've done.
Yeah,
I think halfway point might be my cutoff time,
that's
and
fair.
I think we have to come back together another time to finish this up.
That's
Is
true.
that cool?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Alrighty.
Okay.
I am gonna go here. Let's see, because I want to keep something for later on. Then, fuck it. Let's go Spyro. Let's go Spyro on that one. So
Spyro.
I'm gonna have Spyro of the two like big mascots I have left here is the one I'm not as in love with, but I want it. It's always a character that I've always wanted in. I don't like. I also think
Yeah,
a quadruped would be a pretty interesting. Like I think that the interesting things that
I think so too.
make an argument for Spyro still being alive as like people wanting that character to be in is more than just the nostalgia. It's what Spyro could be as a character compared to other characters that just simply can't do it because he's just wildly different. The most we've ever gotten
Mm-hmm.
that's close to what Spyro would move like all the time is small glimpses of like an Incineroar or a Pikachu where they get on all fours and crawl, or like a King K. Rool when he crawls. But that's it. Those are brief moments where the whole character is quadruped style with Spyro. So I think that's a really unique
Mm-hmm.
element to it. I also think there's enough. One of the things that I said in the 40 cut down that was important is when you have so many unique characters, I feel like you need to have a balance with characters that are fun and special in their own way, but there's enough meat and potatoes there that you're just like, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
they belong, but they're unique enough on their own that they don't need to have this like wild ass move set that like a Baba would need, where you're like, what is going on with this character to make it work and be faithful to the character. Where like Spyro is very much like, you can have a tail whip, you can have a horn ram,
Mm-hmm.
you can have like you can have just breathing fire. Another one that another creator I want to shout out is Nintendo Man. So it's like Nintendo, but then add the ending part
Nintendo.
of Yeah, so it's like Nintendope, like DOPE, and then
Dope
Man.
man.
It's on YouTube. He did movesets for Crash Bandicoot, Dixie, Spyro. He's done a ton of them, but these are the ones that I already was like thought about a lot, and I was like, well, let me just see if I could flesh this out a little bit more. And he brought up the really cool concept that you could be really faithful and give a unique element to Spyro with Sparks the Dragonfly, in that because
Mm.
Sparks represents your health elements in Spyro, what if your moveset powers kind of change based off the health of Sparks? Where if like you're 0 to 50, you have gold Sparks. If you're and you just keep going down and down and down until once you get 150%. With Spyro, who would be theoretically a lighter character, if you're at
Mhm.
150%, Sparks just doesn't exist anymore. You're like, Sparks is gone, dude. Like, you're gonna die any moment if you get hit with Spyro at this point. But I just thought it was kind of that
Mhm.
90s nostalgia gaming icon, so you get a little bit of that nostalgia in there. You get the mascot feel in there, but you
Mhm.
also have a really unique character when you actually think about the implementation and play of said character.
Yeah, I think I agree with basically everything you said there. I think the mascot element is attractive to me. I think the quadruped element is attractive to me. I think that the aspect that it has, it's a character with a good bit of history,
Yeah,
is pretty interesting. I think it'd be fun to represent, and I know that there's a subset of people who are also really into Skylanders, and Spyro is a big part of that.
I was about
So
to
I think that like
say
being able to represent some of that is kind of cool too.
that was where I was gonna go. Also, was it's toy-based gaming is not really a thing anymore. It was a fad, but it's kind of like how
Yeah.
we Fit still works because
Oh man.
it was a passing fad that captured a moment in time. And the fact that they took a character that was kind of on its ass, created a brand new franchise around it, and created this whole line of toys so that worlds and worlds and worlds of trash and plastic could litter our world of Skylanders figures. But it had its time that was incredibly popular and inspired so many other games that had toy based elements, two of which I owned with Disney
Mm-hmm.
Infinity and the Lego Dimensions game. So, like,
There's one big one you're ignoring.
and that would be,
You for real right now?
yes, I truly am because I don't play in that world outside of what I did back in the day.
How, do you have any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts
The
about
close,
Amiibo?
well, that was gonna say that the closest thing I can think of is Amiibo, but Amiibo feels more like art pieces that you can put in your game. Does that make sense? It doesn't feel like a toy. Where I know that's so dumb when you actually think about like splitting hairs of it, but like Skylander specifically, Disney
Mm-hmm.
Infinity, the way the game was played, and Lego Dimensions for sure, the way the game was played was very much just like you can play as this character. What's unique about this character? Maybe one move. Where like
Mm-hmm.
Amiibo, it's kind of like almost like a memory card that looks really cool and really rad and just adds a little flourish to a game. It doesn't feel like I'm putting my toy into
So
this
I'm gonna
game.
be totally honest with you. The main reason I'm gonna be totally honest with you.
Yeah,
At this point, I feel like Spyro has to be in on one condition:
and that is
the Spyro Skylander works with the game. So the same way Amiibos work, you
yeah,
can scan the Skylander.
that is a
If we can
wild
scan the
concept.
Spyro Skylander, he's got to be in.
I don't know if I can approve that. I think Johnny Microsoft with two S's has to approve that, and I'm not sure I can because I don't know if
I
Nintendo would
think
go
I know
for
one
that.
way. I think I know one way we can convince him.
How would you do that? All right, I have a better way that we can convince them.
Ooh, we're both doing it.
Oh, hold
We're
on.
both doing. We're gonna convince him.
I'll throw in a Pokemon card too.
Ooh, he's getting snasty with it. Okay, he's
specifically,
crossbreeding.
specifically Ladybug. So, also, if you guys wanted to, I'd throw in one of my mystery packs from my Etsy shop, ptcreative.etsy.com, hashtag shameless plug, to get that Daddy Warbucks money to satisfy Johnny Microsoft
Yeah.
with two money signs in there.
To get
Honestly, I like
the Skylanders in there.
I didn't think that was the greatest argument of all time, but then I was talking and I saw your face talking. I was like, I think Spyro might have to be in. I thought of the characters I wanted in from my heart. Spyro had one of the weaker arguments.
Yeah, but also I don't know. He's Toys to Life.
Yeah, let's
Nintendo
go.
cares about Toys to Life. That's cool.
That also, what's really interesting is it kind of harkens back to what you talked about again in a previous character you brought up, which was bringing the toys to life. That was the whole idea in the opening of Smash 64. Is like that's what Master Hand
Yep.
is. You're playing against yourself. It's like toys rebelling like your toys rebelling against you. Kind of. It's like it's insane that the toy mascot of video games is going to go play in the sandbox with all the other toys, and you're like, you're one of us now. Like you've earned your stripes, kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna go straight to Spyro's in.
Spyro's in.
Spyro's in. So that makes us. We have 4 characters on the board thus far that are in. We have. My screen only shows 3. Angelo's, if you can zoom in, can have 4. But we have Dr. Robotnik strictly as Eggman, Waluigi.
Eggman. Strictly as Kyle.
Waluigi strictly as our boy Kyle. Nemesis strictly as Nemesis, and then Spyro strictly as Skylander Spyro. But we mean that
as
solely.
Spyro, yeah.
So I want to say this: he does not have the sky. Like his base cosmetic is not Skylander. I refuse.
Hold up, we gotta.
But
okay, that's fine. But
the Skylander's
this has to be one of his skins.
Spyro toy will be represented with the skins, and the Skylander Spyro toy must be playable as an amiibo.
Yes, it has to be playable as an amiibo, and also I want this to be one of his skins too.
What the hell is that?
It's a Drobot. It's a Drobot from Skylanders.
Oh god!
Look at this guy. Look, he shoots lasers.
The only emotions I have for Skylanders is why did you co-opt my character that I love, and 2, we have Skylanders toys, but we had no Skylanders game at work, so they were just like Skylanders toys littered across the game room that we have for the kids, and it was just me constantly having to pick up crap because I was like, why are these even here?
I love that.
Like we don't even have a Skylanders game. Like
because they're just cool. They're toys. They're these kids' best friends.
And it bothered me.
We love Drobot.
It bothered me. Okay, so all right, let's give your halfway
this
point,
little guy,
and we'll end episode 2 of the O.N.E.T.A show.
Don't you have another one to go?
Well, because we're gonna do rapid fire next time, so now I'm kind of down to like 4 fresh ones, and then we still have Daisy and Pokemon Trainer that I have to flesh out more, which is gonna take time. Plus our previously in the game and other capacities characters that we said we wanted to go rapid fire on.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. If that's the case, then this is going to be my last one for the night, so I feel like I got to go out on a biggity banger.
That's kind of why I picked Spyro. I was like, I want a heavy hitter, which is why I left a very obvious mascot still in for next time for discussion. But at the same time,
if we're going this, I'm gonna throw in. This is a personal pick.
Okay.
Personal pick, come from love.
I can't wait to shit all over it.
It's your boy Gaping Dragon.
What the hell? What?
This goes in the faves for gamers category.
What the hell is this thing?
So, the greatest video game ever made is called Dark Souls.
So that's wrong. It's called Skyrim. Continue.
And the greatest enemy design ever implemented in a video game is the Gaping Dragon from Dark Souls. And I think in the same vein as Ridley of this is a creature too large for Smash Brothers. The Gaping Dragon, Dark Souls is a really cool.
I'm currently looking at it.
Oh yeah, it is a dragon in the Dark Souls universe. Dragons live for eternity.
Okay.
They do not die. This dragon was trapped in a place where it could not eat, and over time, its desire for food manifested physically over eons and eons on its body itself, and its entire torso basically evolved to be a giant gaping maw as it like forever and always forward like hungers and desires to devour everything in its path. And that is the coolest, most metal goddamn thing in the entire world. Alongside that, it looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
Alongside that, it's Dark Souls, baby, the best video game ever made. And I think that there would be a interesting and fun challenge, similar to how you represent Ridley in Super Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
to represent the Gaping Dragon. Something that is cool and interesting about the Gaping Dragon as a design
Yeah.
is obviously the huge mouth thing that it does. But also, I'm trying to see if there's a good image to represent this. But yeah, I think this concept art does a pretty good job. Um, he's really long, but one of his core elements is that he folds like a spring trap. And I think that there being a mode switch for the character where he kind of switches between the two forms of the long mode versus the upright mode, and that affecting his moveset opens up a lot of other interesting possibilities.
Okay.
When he's in his upright mode, he is slow and not very quickly able to move across the stage. But if you get close to him, it's dangerous because he has arms open, out, available, and accessible, as well as his, in my mind, the big power move of snapping back down with his gaping maw. And I think it would be something equivalent to a like Ganondorf Warlock punch, where that would be like the big thing, the big move that they could pull off to do like giant damage in one fell swoop. But it would be something that would be a like not necessarily charge, but like a spring down. You have to have time to react to it.
Sure.
Whereas in the long mode, I'm imagining something more along the lines of like a quick paced and glider type moveset,
Okay.
because he does still have wings. So like it's something along the lines of if you are upright, you have a strong vertical jump. If you are horizontal, you have a long range like side glide sort of thing. Um, I don't know. There's cool things. There's cool options for the move set capabilities
Yeah.
with this character. More than anything, I think it is just the coolest thing that's ever been in a video game ever. And what if it was in two video games? What if the coolest thing that's ever been created was in two things that are very cool?
Okay. So
Boom.
you have
Gaping Dragon,
so
Dark Souls,
to me you have done
baby.
the reverse nemesis on this one for me. I think that Dark Souls should be represented in Smash Bros. Regardless of whether I like
Oh, look at that.
regardless of whether I love Dark Souls as a player. Because you know my history of Dark Souls as a player. I don't. Our boy here went on a 2-year odyssey to try to get me to play Dark Souls,
Look at
to
this.
the point where he bought me Dark Souls 3 and I played, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I need to apparently was
Oh, man.
disconnected.
Are you looking at these gifs?
So I've been disconnected from your screen apparently. They said sit tight. We're patching you back in.
No more?
So we should be good. You're good. So you
Can you see it now?
yes, but for 2 years you
Look at
asked
this
me to
guy.
play
Look
this
what he's
game,
doing.
and to me the value of Dark Souls is the epic battle, which I don't think is accomplished by taking one of those giant boss monsters and making it a character. To me, that is Gaping Dragon should definitely be like boss fight material. But I don't think Gaping Dragon is a playable character. To me, that's too much.
So I will say this: the
I'm losing you a hair here, kid.
the first thing I was thinking,
Okay, you're good.
the thing I was thinking for Dark Souls is like your playable character. But that felt like I was falling into the same trap that I feel like the Dovahkiin falls into.
Sure.
Whereas like your playable character isn't necessarily. Oh, you still there?
Yep.
Hello, hello.
I'm good.
Are we cross talking? How much of what I said did you catch?
I heard all of it. We're good. We are all good, my friend. You look like you don't hear me, but I hear you.
Okay. How much of what I said did you catch?
All of it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not here.
You know
I'm
what?
not hearing a lot of what's coming from you, but
Here, let's do this. End your share your screen, because I think we got it kind of good at this point. And now I just get
Okay.
your fuzzy screen.
I've stopped sharing my screen.
Okay, cool. Now you just have what looks like a 49er fan punched their TV screen, but I can still hear you, so we cool.
So where I was going with it was that the original thought that I had was like, oh, I should put the character from Dark Souls in, like your player character.
Yeah.
But that feels like it falls into the same trap as the Dovahkiin.
Yeah.
Where people, when it is a self-insert, like, what's the word for it? Like, avatar.
Mm-hmm.
People don't necessarily like associate themselves with it.
Yeah.
They associate themselves with their character, not the generic character. I think the elite knight from Dark Souls would totally work and totally be valid, but I just think it is something that has been done already. There are sword fighters in Smash Brothers.
Sure.
I think that Artorias would be a much more straightforward choice as a boss from Dark Souls to be represented in Smash Brothers as a playable character in a Sephiroth sense.
Okay.
But in a similar vein, like Artorias is really, really awesome, but it also is a dude with a sword, which we've seen dudes with swords before.
Yeah.
Like Gaping Dragon is something outside of what we have seen in Smash Brothers.
Sure.
And I continue to say this, like one of the big things I was like planning around and thinking about with this is what are new things we could do in the space?
Yeah.
What are things that aren't already being done? Because like I don't want to just do like more of the same for anything. Like
Yeah, I know.
if we can create something new and add something to expand what Smash Brothers is, that's what gets me excited.
Yeah.
And I think that Gaping Dragon is like totally outside of the wheelhouse. It is unexplored territory for Smash Brothers.
I see that, and I definitely understand it and agree that you need to push the boundary, and it's new. I just think it's too much of a pushing of the boundary as a playable character. I think boss is the way to go.
Which part feels like it's pushing the boundary too far?
I feel like, in a weird way, I think in two ways. One, the size of what you're kind of talking here. Although Ridley, yes, was boss and was big and had been represented in the past as very big for, as very big in even Brawl, like it didn't feel like Ridley was too much to scale down. And maybe I just don't have the scale of Gaping Dragon that well in my head because I never fought the Gaping Dragon because I beat 2 bosses and quit the game.
The base scale of Gaping Dragon is genuinely large and imposing.
Yeah.
But I think that's similar to Ridley. Like, I think that is something that could be worked around and planned around and implemented around.
I just think that you have a better bet. To me, that's 4 steps down the road, not 1. Whereas, like, Baba is a stretch, but I can see it. I can even see Alex. And, like, Azura, I can, like, a little far from me, but I can see it. Gaping Dragon's one where I just cannot see it yet.
I will say it's interesting to hear which ones you think are more or less extreme. Because I would have thought Baba was like the most out there one because it is like pure concept.
Yeah, well,
Baba is pure like break down the fundamental reality of what Smash Brothers is, which is what makes it awesome.
The thing is, this is ironically enough, I think when you talk to what realistic expectation is possible of these characters, ironically enough, I think
Mhm.
Half-Life Alex is your best bet of what
Mhm.
you've posed as like the super creative, over the top character. It's
Yeah.
where and like Azura in a way is like the next one because at least it's like was a tangible guy. It's just
Yeah.
like
He's a
oh what,
dude.
but
He's a
like
dude and he punches.
he opens another door that's like I don't know if we're there yet, you know. Whereas like Gaping Dragon is abstract from a both scaling down and making a playable character of from a Dark Souls as boss fight. And I think the the art alone kind of gives it away as a little too abstract as a playable character in my mind. Like I just don't think there's enough tangible there where and like it may be crazy compared to what you said for Alex, but like even a set of floating hands you can put like a wireframe there and you're like, well it's human. I kind of like get it. Like I got it. It's human shaped in some way, shape, or form. It's a tangible thing to a degree that I can fight. Whereas Gaping Dragon feels to me is like even its concept and its concept art is too abstract as a playable character in my mind. That's how I would look at it.
So for what it's worth, if we look at like the base skeleton of like the upright gaping dragon,
Yeah.
it's Spyro. It's a
Nah.
quadrupedal like monster. Like I feel like if we're saying it's like too undecipherable as like a mesh, like it's just like a dude. It's just a dude what walks on his
Oh, I
legs.
don't think it's
It's
in
not
this.
it's not that outlandish. It's almost actually like I guess like a minotaur, because like when he's in his upright position, he has two arms and then four legs, and then I think that the mode switch would just be him like down on all six.
Yeah.
I I guess all I'm really saying is that like I don't think it's that crazy to imagine a way to make the like design work.
I'm just going through
I don't think
concept
that
art
it's
at
like
this point, and
unfathomable.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. You haven't sold me on this one. I'm sorry, because I know this is your baby. This is your passion project. This is your
All here, like, this is
Dark Souls is your
go
Roman
ahead.
Empire. If we're gonna use modern day internet lingo, Dark Souls is your Roman Empire. And
So here's my actual feeling. My actual feeling is that I'm trying to make a cool video game, and I don't know what you're trying to make, but
knew this was coming eventually.
if we got to
You've
make it
waited
together, then
You've waited
all
over
right,
two
I
hours
get
to
it.
get. You waited over 2 hours to get back to your. I have all the good characters, and they're all going to be in the game, and you get
I
no
do have
characters.
I have a lot of very interesting characters. I feel
Where,
very good about the
where
choices
I,
I've brought.
where ironically, 3 of the 4 characters that we put automatically in were characters I proposed. So, huh?
You want to know why Dr. Money?
Why is that?
Do you want to know why? You want to know why Dr. Money?
Why? Because I'm about to
Because
beat.
Dr. Money. That's why.
Why? Because I'm about to beat Yama Yugi with all these cards here, baby. I like how
Yeah, get him, get
I'm
him.
not doing any pub whatsoever for my channel that's Pokemon centric. No, I'm showing you trap cards and magic
Nah, that
cards
ain't what
for
it's about.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Kids don't play Pokemon anymore. Kids play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Do kids play Stapler?
Kids are over Pokemon.
I can get some Legos out too if we want to do that.
Oh, kids love Stapler. Kids are always just stapling their arms together and then pulling them apart.
I suggest we do
That's the
Legos.
hot new trend.
We do Lego Dimensions and we go Lego Yoshi. That's what I think we go with next.
Is that a Lego Yoshi? That's so cute.
It
Hi
is
Yoshi.
indeed. Yes, I got the Super
Real quick,
Mario starter
can you
course.
show me? Can you help me out for a second?
And what is that?
What does Yoshi sound like?
Yoshi!
Very good.
Yoshi!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yoshi.
Yeah, oh, that was good. That was good. That's quite good on your part. But yeah,
Doing voices is fun.
I just got the Super Mario Luigi starter course. It's actually quite interesting and fun. Way overpriced, which is why I'm glad I got it for the price I did. But nonetheless. But one day you guys may see that on the O.N.E.T.A Brick Builders show, which happens on Fridays occasionally because it's part of the rotating Friday shows. over here on ptecreative.com. Where would you like to? Where do you think we can reasonably put Gaping Dragon? I am all for it being a boss.
I already got the.
I can't put it in new edition.
I've already got the tier list updated.
What'd you do? What'd you do?
I have the official tier list updated. Don't even worry about it.
Okay, so you
He's
have
exactly where he's supposed
it.
to
So
be.
you have it in new edition, and I have it in nah as a balance.
Nothing, man.
Then
That's cool. I'm just playing games with my friends.
This is why people need to watch on YouTube. Oh God. Okay.
Well, it's all good.
Alrighty.
We did it.
Where are we
We're
actually?
halfway through.
Do we have an official distinction?
I mean, I know where I officially put it.
I know where you want it. I'm not stupid.
I know where I officially have placed it and hit download image.
What I'd love to do one day, no discussion, is just go, okay, you get this many characters. You just make the game. No things. And just be like, and mine's going to be basic as hell, but probably make people happy. You're just going to make people happy from a pure conceptual, yo, dude, look at this shit.
Yeah. What if video games were cool? Everyone's going to ask that. And they're going to see mine and they're going to be like, yeah.
Gaping Dragon is officially in toss-up since I was never given an answer.
That's weird. That's not what I'm seeing on mine. Crazy. Guess we'll have to compare notes later on.
Oh God.
See what Dr. Microsoft thinks about that. I gotta stop rubbing money on my face.
Yeah,
I've been moisturizing. I need to treat myself better.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, dude. It's not good.
Yeah.
Also, so unsanitary.
Covered in booty crack. Crack juice.
Money is just so unsanitary.
Mm-hmm.
Just gross.
That's why you don't touch money. I just sneeze on people's wallets.
Of course you do.
It's my thing.
Well, on that note, this has been a lovely episode of the O.N.E.T.A show brought to you by TT Creative. Do you have any parting words before we finish this down the road?
No, you can just cut me off again. It's fine.
That was purely accidental, trying to make sure things happen. But we will continue the breakdown of characters that we would add to our Smash Bros. Game in the next episode, whenever I can have Angie back, because he's a busy man and he does busy stuff and he lives a busy life.
So important. He is so important.
Acting over
so
here.
So valuable.
Yeah, he's acting like I'm Johnny Microsoft with two money signs. Pretty soon
someone's got 3 money signs.
Pretty soon I'm gonna have to pay him to be like that simply so he shows up for the show. But nonetheless,
I've been good.
Yes,
I've been good at attending this.
That is true.
Thank you very much, sir.
But insofar, we have Dr. Robotnik, also known as Eggman, due to contractual obligation. Waluigi, specifically Kyle.
Kyle. Yes.
Nemesis from Resident Evil, and Spyro the Dragon, which I didn't think was going to make this Sweet 16, has somehow made it into this game. But that is going
It's actually crazy because there's 2 dragons in the top category, the new edition.
No, there's not.
Weird. That's
Oh yeah, you're right. It's the Dovahkiin from Dragonborn. And on that note, keep checking out the show as much as possible, friends. Check it out every Tuesday for the O.N.E.T.A show.
Why is Kratos on here twice? I'm seeing 2 Vikings? Weird.
Oh God. Huh? Why are you doing this to me right now?
I don't know. Weird. I don't know what that is, huh?
Oh God. Alright, well, keep checking in for more stuff on the PTE Creative channel. Like, comment, subscribe for more, and check out everything you can over at the Etsy shop, ptecreative.etsy.com, which, you know what? I'm gonna show how I'm gonna get you back on right now to the people. And we're going to do a promo read together that you can't see. Etsy shop sale, ptecreative.etsy.com. What's the promo code?
ptecreative.etsy.com. What's the promo code?
Yeah, what's the promo code?
The promo code is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No, it's not. It's Bliss, B-L-I-S-S, Bliss.
No, but you got to spell it right. It's B-L-I-A-Z-Z, Blizz.
You know for a fact.
Because it's so chilly outside.
You know for a fact that my English major brain would never allow me to do anything with Z's instead of S's. This
Bro,
isn't
you're gonna get blizzed out.
brute, dude. We're not the Dudley Boys with a Z or a Hardy Boys with a Z. Good. Go to the
Hardy
PT.
Boys.
Go to the ptecreative.etsy.com shop. Use the promo code BLISS with 2 S's, not 2 Z's.
Blizz.
And any order of 2 items or more, and you'll get 20% off your order. And yes, this has been the greatest promo read in the history of promo reads. And I'm so glad I'm the owner of the shop.
I could buy 2 Hawaii stickers
Yes.
and get 20% off?
Yes.
That's my advisement. I think everyone should buy all the Hawaii stickers.
Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. Go buy the cooler stuff. And also, I'm going to be honest, I told you I was going to fix that. Never did, because I just don't want to.
You have absolutely not fixed that.
Nope.
Yeah.
I just don't want to, man. I'm still in the process of updating all the stickers from when I finally rebranded everything, and I'm just like, this sucks. Like, but there's going to be a new Psyduck sticker.
I guess I'm just going to have to buy another one.
I can't wait for you to do it because you're just giving me money. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, no, I would never do that. I would never give you money.
Yes, I know. Johnny Microsoft with 3 money sign S's over there. But
the money sign Z's, thank you very much.
Yeah, you would have it Z's, loser. All right.
Oh, yeah.
On that note, as you're stretching out whatever you're stretching out, we are going to say goodbye. Do you have any closing words before I finally cut you off and stop recording this episode?
Can I share some closing words before you sign off?
Of course.
Is that okay?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I love you, buddy.
I love you too. It hurts me how much I love you. Because this is the highlight of my week most of the time.
I'm having a blast too, friend.
I can't wait. I can't wait for whatever weird stretchy cord thing you're doing on your chin to happen in real life. It's gonna be fun. And on that note, we'll see you next week, guys. Next week you're gonna get a sweet Pokemon Day themed episode to launch a new project we're doing on the PTE channel. And I believe it'll be the first time you guys meet our boy Kyle and our girl Christine on that show. So it's going to be fun. So we will catch you guys next time. We love them. They're great. They're great. And you guys are going to love them too. And we are blind ranking the 151 OG Pokemon because Christine has actually never played Pokemon before. So it's going to be fun. So we'll catch you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with as many people as possible, and go buy stuff off the Etsy shop because we need you to, because we don't want to be poor. So peace. Love and hugs out. Bye.